to start with some mobilizing, some gentle movement to open up the body and get those joints moving in there, a nice full range of movement. So if you find some space around you, because we are going to be swinging arms around in a moment, make sure you're not going to hit anything or anyone. And find a nice comfortable standing position. Slow down the breath, take it a little deeper, and just bring your awareness to how the body's feeling today. Just noticing where your weight is on your feet. Maybe swaying very slightly forward and back to bring your weight then to settle right in the middle of your feet. Think of gently engaging the glutes and the tummy to keep a slightly flattened back, nice tall spine. Chest is up and open, head is up and slightly tuck the chin in. So it feels what might feel like what you would consider to be a good posture. We're going to start from the top down and mobilize the body. So dropping the head to one side to start with. Let's focus on the neck by rolling the head slowly round the front to the other side. Feeling that stretch move around the neck. You can come back round to the front, to the other side. And just keep going a couple more times. So we're avoiding taking the head back. We're just going from one side through the front to the other side. One more time through. And bring the head back on top of the spine. Think about shoulders and start some lovely slow and smooth shoulder rolls, gradually bringing those shoulders into wider circles. And if you're comfortable to do so, we can bring in the arms and do 3 circles backwards and 3 circles forwards in your own time. And we're going to bring the arms out to the side when you've done that. Nice, smoothly, no jerking movements. We're going to cross the arms, then any angle you like, open up the arms and the chest. Again, cross the arms, give a little stretch to the back, and then open up the arms, opening up the chest. And have a little play with different directions. They could be out to the side, could be on the diagonal. And just feeling where that stretch moves to. Noticing if one side is a little bit more tight to the other maybe. And then bring the arms across in front of you and bent. Keeping the hips facing forward, very gently. If you've got any spine issues, you're going to turn from the waist to one side and then slowly come through to the other side. Almost a continuous movement. Just starting to ease those muscles into movement in the back. We're not forcing it, we're not going around as far as we can go. We're just moving always so where we feel a sensation of stretch, but not looking for any particular discomfort. We imagine turning from inside the abdomen, the shoulder blades turning. And keep facing the same direction as your arms. 2 more turns, nice and smooth. Legs are straight but soft. And come back to the middle. Hands on hips, moving the hips into big circles. Again, 3 one direction, 3 the other. Nice big breaths, face is soft. Just seeing how those hips feel today. And when you've done about 3, we're going the other way. Again, we're never locking out any joints, so legs are straight, but they'll always have a little bit of softness to them. We're going to bring the feet together now, bend the knees, hands on knees, and go into some knee circles. I'm going to change the angle slightly of my screen. Keep going, 3 each direction. Stand up. If you've got something to hold on with, we will need that in a minute as well. So maybe just put a few fingertips somewhere. We're going to stand, balance on one foot, and just lift up the foot enough so that you can do some ankle circles If you want to bring in the wrist circle as well, same side, and reverse direction. Replace that foot, maybe turn around if you're holding onto the side. I'm just going to stay facing the front, and we're going to do the other wrist. I'll pretend I'm holding on. Other wrist, other ankle. Now for the back of the legs, we're going to put one, I'll show you from the side. We're going to slightly bend now the supporting leg and put tap one heel down onto the ground in front of you. Sorry, I'm going to take this back. There we are. And then reaching back with the butt, we're going to do our sweeps down with our fingertips and reach up. We're looking to do this to start to move and stretch the hamstrings at the back of the thigh. So tummies in, reach back with the butt. Feel the stretch traveling down the back of the leg as you sweep the arms down. We'll do about 5 one side, 5 the other. You can do this holding on, so again you could use your fingertips for balance, so you're not having to worry so much about the balance, and just use one arm if you like. Or the main point is to feel that stretch down the back of your straight leg. Again, when you've done 5 one leg, you're going to switch sides and do 5 the other side. Nice, soft, moving breath. And when you've done your 5th one, come back up to standing. So we're going to, I'll move this back so you can see me. You're going to need to hold on to something. So I don't know if you can maneuver so you can see me and be able to hold on to something. Again, straight but soft supporting leg, tummies in, and just see if you can bend one leg and start to bring it through into some nice relaxed swings. So let's just get a little bit of movement going in that hip and groin, swinging the leg forward and back, just letting it fall through. Trying to relax the hip as much as possible so we're not constraining that movement. And bring the foot down. While we're here on this side, we're then going to lift the knee in front, ease that knee and round and down. So we're doing open the gates, we call them. So it's like you're opening a gate. So big circles with that knee. Might feel a few clicks. Maybe it's nice and smooth. And when you've done about 5, take a little rest for that supporting leg if you need. And then we're going to go into close the gates. Same thing, but other way around. Take the leg back, lift the knee, round and down. Slightly back, out to the side, round to the front and down. So it's like you're closing the gate now. And when you've done about 5, we're going to do both. Oh, sorry, we're going to do the swings and then the open and close the gates on the other side. So when you're ready, I'm just going to move my chair, but you can turn around. I don't want to turn my back to you. Hands on hip. And just start really relaxed, swinging through that leg. Just getting a little bit of movement going in that hip. So whenever we exercise, for example, these what we call dynamic stretches, really nice thing to do before you, say, go for a walk or run or bike ride, just to get the joints warm and taking them through their range of movement. Really can reduce any risk of injury. Okay, we're going into the open the gates. Knee comes up to the front, out to the side and down. 5 that direction, and then we go through into those close the gates. Try and keep the body nice and upright. Breathe, soft faces, going the other way. Supporting leg is soft. Toes are relaxed, no crunching up the toes. A couple more depending on your timing. And feet come down and shake it out. Okay, we're going to start our static stretches. So all that it means is we're going to be holding the stretches this time. You're very welcome to do these standing or seated on a chair, or maybe kneeling on the floor, whatever's really comfortable for you. So we're going to start with some upper body stretches. It doesn't matter whether you're seated or standing. So we're going to start with a chest stretch that also stretches the front of the shoulders. Very simple. We're going to put our hands behind our head, sit nice and tall, tummy in, and just ease back the elbows, looking up. Try not to hold your breath. Keep breathing. Careful if you've had surgery, just go to that point that you feel a bit of a stretch but no pain. So if you've got any scar tissue, take care. Five more seconds. 4, breathing. 3, relax into the stretch. 2, 1, and come back down to the front. We're then going to sweep one arm across and use the other hand to bring that arm across and slightly down. So this stretches the outside of the shoulder now, and also the back of the arm a little bit, the triceps. And maybe you might feel it going around into your upper back muscles. Again, never holding breath, nice and relaxed, but you can keep a little bit of pressure with this front hand. So just gently sliding the arm across and down, just holding that stretch, another 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1, same stretch, other side. Sweep the arm across, hand on the outside, brings it slightly across and down. So my arm is below my shoulder height. I'm kind of pulling that arm slightly towards and across the body, stretching out the outside and the back of the shoulders, back of the upper arm and the upper back. Five seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to bring the hands back to the side of our head, but this time we're going to do a nice stretch for the side of the body, what we call the oblique muscles we have down the side. So we're just going to tilt the body slowly, 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 tipping up one elbow towards the ceiling and one getting its way towards the floor. Again, never pushing, no forcing, just till you feel that stretch, maybe through the side of the waist and maybe up into the side of the ribs. Breathing on the next out breath, seeing if you can relax a little bit further into that stretch. So on the next out breath, dropping any tension you're holding on to. Relax the face, just see if you can ease over a little bit further. And then super slowly come back up. Lift up tall in the spine to start with, and then slowly start going over to the other side. Just what feels comfortable for you. Try not to twist or turn. It's just a side bend, like you're sandwiched between two plates of glass. Just taking care of yourself always when you stretch, listening to the body. If you do have any particular extreme muscle weakness, extreme osteoporosis, fracture risk, you can do all these stretches, but just keep it gentle and don't go to your full end range of movement. Very slowly coming back up. Okay. We're going to do some stretches now for the arms. There's two ways of doing these. A slightly more intense way I'll show you in a moment. You can go on hands and knees, those that is available to you. But I'll show you them in a seated position or kneeling, standing first. So the first one, we're going to stretch the biceps, the Popeye muscle at the top of the arm. Then it stretches all the way down the top of the wrist. You're simply going to, I'm just extending one arm in front of me and using the other hand to ease those fingertips and the palm back. So I've just got my fingers across the other fingers as I straighten that arm. My shoulders stay down. So it's like I'm kind of showing the inside of my wrist up to the ceiling, the inside of my forearm. I really like the feeling of this stretch. If you can really straighten your arm, you should feel that stretch going up into your biceps. So those of you that are doing it and want to carry on doing it this way, if that works for you, stay there. You can hold it another 10 seconds and then you can switch to the other side. Anyone that fancies something a little bit more intense, you're going to go on your hands and knees and see if you can tilt. I'm going to have to change that angle, tilt your hands backwards on the floor, and then very, very, very gently easing your hips back. Keep those elbows and arms straight, and you'll feel exactly the same stretch, but more intense. And the advantage being you are doing both arms and wrists at the same time. It's the same stretch though as if you're doing the standing or kneeling one with the arm in front of you. Take care if you're doing the kneeling version, it will feel a lot more intense. If you're doing the single arm version, you can switch, we can, if you've done both sides, we can go on to the opposite stretch of that. So now you're going to the same stretch, but tilt the hand over now, so the back of your wrist and hand faces the ceiling. This is a really lovely one if you do a lot of computer work. So I'm now, again, with my other hand, just easing the back of the hand and the fingers towards me. So I'm really stretching out now the outside of that wrist in particular. So really nice feeling if you do a lot of work with a keyboard. Also really good one if any of you get tennis elbow or golf elbow. And again, you can do this one. It's not so easy kneeling, but you can do exactly the same thing. Try and put the back of your hands on the mat and drift your hips back a little bit. It's not so easy, that one on hands and knees, but you do get to do, again, both at the same time. We're going to go into some mat work, so take your time doing that, both sides if you're doing both sides. And we're going to do a stretch. First of all, we're going to do a cobra face down on the ground. So that may not be, again, for everybody. You can either therefore do it kneeling and just open up the body by leaning back, slightly arching the spine, but keeping your hands supporting the top of your hips. Or if kneeling also doesn't work for you, you're going to be able to do the same stretch, but try and find a way of opening and arching the body. Again, with your hands on the back of your hips, supporting that lower spine. We're coming up with a stretch to basically stretch out our six-pack muscles, our rectus abdominis. I'm going to tilt the screen slightly. If you can do it, the way I'd like you to try and do it is lying on the ground. Those of you that do yoga will recognize it. Let's see where you can see that way. Okay. So lying on the ground, you'd be face down, forehead resting on the ground. You put your hands either side of your chest on the floor. Slide the shoulder blades down the back. Slightly pull in the tummy button area, those muscles, and then very, very, very slowly, keeping that tummy engaged, you're going to lift up just enough to feel a bit of a stretch down your six-pack. But we're trying not to feel it into the lower back. So to avoid that, I slightly tilt the pelvis, like I'm pushing my pelvis into the floor and keeping that tummy button area engaged. Keep my shoulders down, breathe. So this is the one you could be doing kneeling and you could be doing it standing. If you're doing those versions, you're going to have your hands behind you at the bottom of your back. And then breathing out as you relax back onto the floor. Have a little look how everyone's doing. Take your time. We're going to either, again, lie on your back, or you can do this sitting in a chair. We're going to be hugging our knees now into our chest to take our spine into a different shape. But this is a stretch also for really stretching out the glutes and the back of the legs, the hamstrings, and the lower part of the muscles in your back. So you're going to either do it kneeling or lying on the floor. Just bend one leg and pick it up in the air. And bring your knee towards you. You've got your hands at the top of your shin bone, just below your knee. And you're going to try and hug that knee towards your chest, keeping the opposite leg flat down on the floor. Breathing into it. Nice, deep, relaxing breaths. Just seeing if you can ease that knee a bit further towards your chest on the next out breath. And again, so you might be sitting back on a sofa doing this, and getting onto the floor doesn't work. Same thing, other leg, pick up the other leg's now flat on the floor. Hugging that knee into the chest, flattening out the other leg onto the mat. Keep breathing. Deep, relaxing breaths. As you breathe out, see if you can squeeze that knee a little tighter into the chest. And release. We're going to go into a hamstring stretch while we're in this position. I'll show the standing version in a moment. So we're looking to stretch down the back of your legs. If you're not very flexible, if you do have any sort of belt or band or tea towel handy, or you want to go and get one, then you can use that to sling it around the foot or the leg so that you can reach the towel if you can't reach your leg. And if you can reach your leg, we're lying on your back, one leg straight, the other leg straight up in the air. Some of you, if you've got very tight hamstrings, it might be a bit bent, that's fine. But as straight as you can, keep breathing and relaxing as you slowly bring it towards you. I'm quite flexible, so a lot of you won't reach beyond 90 degrees like I am now. But you're trying to find that point for you where you feel a stretch down the back of the straight leg. And we're just going to hang out there so that we hold it a total of about 30 to 40 seconds. Always using an out breath as a chance to relax a bit further and see if you can slowly maybe deepen it another inch. And when you're ready, you're going to swap legs. I'm just going to come up and show anyone that is trying to do this standing. There's different versions of a hamstring stretch. If you want to do it standing, you could just have one leg in front of you, take the hips back until you feel that stretch. So my body's coming over, I'm taking the hips back, and I'm looking to feel a stretch all the way down the front of that leg. And then you could hold on for a bit of balance. And again, you can still hold it for 30 or 40 seconds as long as it's not too challenging on your supporting leg. Anyone that's lying on the floor, if you haven't already, do switch to the second side. Checking you're never holding your breath and always trying to relax into stretch. It's the expression you'll hear me say the most in stretch classes. We're looking to create this lovely supple, relaxed body, so the opposite of tension. So we're trying to remove tension from the body. So just because you're holding a stretch doesn't mean you have to tense. You're trying to relax into that stretch. So we're going to go into a series of stretches now in a seated position on the floor for those that can sit on the floor. Again, in just a moment, I'll show a chair version or standing version for those of you that can't get down on the floor. So, seated ones amongst you, change that. Come up to a seated position, and we're going to have, I'm wearing the wrong colour trousers, they're blending with the floor. I'll move back. We're going to have one leg straight, so I face the camera, and one leg bent with the knee coming out kind of to the side, but I just got the sole of the foot on the inside thigh of the other leg. So the first stretch we're going to do is try and lift up in the body and hinge from that hip crease forward towards the straight leg. So try and line up your body with that straight leg. It's like you're just trying to ease that chest a bit more towards the floor. I'm not looking for anyone to round their back. I prefer you to keep a fairly straight back. So even if you may only come a few inches forward, other people might completely lie down on that front leg. Everyone is very different, so don't worry about what anyone else is doing. We're just looking to feel what it feels like for your body. And where you're going to feel that stretch again is going to depend on where your relative tightness is. It might be the lower back, it might be the top of the hips, the top of the glutes. You might feel it a little bit at the muscles we have at the side of the hip, or you might feel it down the back of the leg again. Anywhere around the back there's fine. And then we're going to slowly come back up. I'll show the standing version in a moment. We're going to turn halfway now between your bent leg and your straight leg. And again, with a nice tall back, just tiptoe the little fingertips forward. Try and line your body up with the diagonal now. So we're not towards the bent leg, we're not towards the straight leg, we're somewhere in the middle. And you might feel a nice, bit more of a glute stretch, this one. And you might feel it a little bit more into your, you might feel it on the inner hamstrings. So that, again, the hamstrings, back of the thigh, round to the inside of the thigh maybe, possibly into that calf muscle. And I want you to do, when you're finished having a little play in those two directions, swap legs and do the same thing. I'm just going to show anyone that's in a chair, I mean, Len, you're probably seated, if you kind of bring your butt towards the front of the chair, and again, try and open up the knees so you've got that feeling of one leg bent, one straight. You can, as long as you're not going to slip forward, enough of your butt on the chair so you're not going to slip. You can try and come forward at different angles and just see where you're feeling a stretch. It's probably slightly easier. You can try all three directions. I get into the inner thigh by bending forward towards my bent knee. Or you can do the same thing standing with one leg, I'll show you from this angle, one leg bent, one leg straight and coming forward, maybe just holding the back of the chair and looking to move that stretch around this whole area here. It won't feel quite the same as doing it on the mat, but it's just about finding a stretch that feels good for you in places that for you are your relative tight spots. For those on the mat, so we've got one leg bent, one straight. We've tried folding forward towards the straight leg and then folding forward in between the bent leg and the straight leg. And then we're going to bend both legs in front of us. Again, I'll show you the seated version. It'll be the same idea, but seated in a chair. Straight and, so both knees facing forward to start with. Straighten one leg and lift one foot up and over your straight leg. You can put your hands behind you to help you keep a nice tall spine. And then very, very slowly, you could put one hand on the outside, kind of reach around or over, on the outside of that thigh, on the bent leg. Lift tall to start with up through the spine, very slowly, turning towards the bent leg. I'm putting some pressure with that hand to keep that knee tucked towards the body. And just bringing again the torso round into a stretch for the muscles either side of the spine. I'm not losing that height in the spine. When you meet that first point of resistance, just pause there, breathe. We're just looking for, again, for that sensation of a stretch into the back. We're not looking to force it or go to our end point. See if you can lift taller in the spine and maybe go a little bit further around. Imagine turning from inside the body cavity, the stomach, the shoulder blades. We're not overturning the head. So my head's still facing the direction that my shoulders are facing. I'm not feeling it as a neck stretch. I'm looking inside the torso, the body, and feeling that stretch maybe inside in the abdomen and into the back muscles. And then very, very slowly unwind. I'll show you the seated version, but for those on the floor, we're just going to straighten that leg now, cross over the other leg. Don't start with a rounded back, start with a lovely tall back, hand on the outside, and you're going to go the other way. I'm just going to try that out as a chair version. So chair version, sitting in a chair, crossing one leg over the other, one hand on the outside, same stretch. It works, yeah, it works nicely as a chair stretch. And exactly where you feel it in the back, again, is where you're relatively tight and where you're relatively loose. will vary between people. You're probably feeling it across the middle of the back. So all those muscles we have down either side of the back. Okay, we're going to move on to a quad stretch. So the quads are this big group of muscles we have down the front of the thighs. There's about 4 big muscles here that's slightly on the diagonal. We use them an awful lot for running, for walking, cycling, just getting up and down off the chair. And most of us, our muscles down the front of the body do get quite tight and strong. So this is quite a powerful stretch because they're quite strong, big, tight muscles, so take care. One of the more relaxing and effective ways to stretch them is doing a lying quad stretch. So we're going to lie on the floor. You can either do it lying, depending on how clean your floor is, you can do it lying face down, which I'll show you. Then I'll show you the lying on the side version, and then I'll show you the standing version. It's just obviously not quite as relaxing doing it in a standing position. And again, if you have some mobility issues reaching around to grab that foot, you might need a tea towel or a belt or something around that foot in order to reach back and grab the back of the foot, especially on the standing one maybe. So I'll show you the standing version in a moment, but if you can and don't mind managing to lie on the floor, the face down version, you're lying on your tummy, you put one hand in front of you so you can rest your forehead on the back of your hand. You're then going to bend the other leg and reach round with that hand till I just reach my foot. There's probably enough of a stretch just to gently ease that foot towards my butt. But anyone that wants to feel a more intense stretch, they can either imagine starting to lift the knee up off the mat, or possibly actually lift the knee up off the mat on the side you're stretching. And that will be quite a deep stretch. So go very slowly, very carefully. And we're looking to feel quite an intense stretch deep into those muscles that sweep down the front of the thigh. If that gets too intense, just bring the knee or the leg back down onto the mat. And just keep thinking like you're gently easing the heel towards the butt and gently lifting the knee off the mat. But it's only a matter of centimeters, certainly for me, before I feel a very deep stretch. So, you can hang out there to like 30, 40 seconds, one leg, and then the other side. If you don't like facing down, or maybe it's not, if anyone has lymphedema around the chest area, you could do it lying on the side, same stretch, reach round. Also, anyone maybe with breathing issues, chest issues, this way you're not compromising, squashing your lungs. So you can do the same stretch lying on one side. If you can balance on that hip okay, it's nice to rest your head down on the arm that's on the floor so that your neck stays in line with the rest of your spine. Nice big breaths into the stretch. Only intensifying the stretch on an out breath. Keep going. I'm only standing up just to show the standing version if anyone hasn't worked it out. You'd hold something for balance. Again, see if you can reach around and grab that foot, or if you've got you can make like a loop with a band, you can get your foot into it and ease up your heel towards your butt that way. I'll show you from the side. So same stretch, looking to feel that stretch down the front of the leg. And if you're lying on the floor, make sure you switch to the other side. We're going to hold the second side as well, 30 or 40 seconds. So keeping the face relaxed, relaxing into the stretch. Lovely. If you're on the floor, you might like to just come up to a seated position a moment. I think what we're going to do today is it takes quite a while, the relaxation piece, and we only got sort of 15 to 20 minutes left. So I think we'll transition now from the stretches to the relaxation part. So have a little think. We're going to do something called a progressive muscle relaxation. It's probably easiest or most effective done just lying back on the floor, but maybe having cushions where you need them. So maybe a cushion under the head, or you might like to put like a bolster cushion or a cushion under the back of your knees. So just, you've got time to have a little drink of water maybe and set yourself up into a really comfortable position. If lying back onto the floor doesn't work for you, then you might have maybe a sofa or a nice armchair that you could relax back in. So while you're all having a little look for and getting yourselves comfortable, it's going to take about 10 to 15 minutes once I start talking you through this relaxation part. So make sure you're going to be warm enough wherever you are. I know we've had a big drop in temperature. So the idea of this, I don't know if anyone's done it before, but it's called a progressive muscle relaxation. So progressive as in we start with I'm going to start with the face, so start from the top of the body and work all the way down through the body. And we're going to really take our time to both contract the muscle to start with, so tighten the area that I describe, and then we're going to relax, completely relax that muscle area that we just tightened. So we're only going to tighten it for about a count of 5 counts. So for example, when we get to the arms, there might be a part where I'm going to get you to make a tight fist and squeeze that fist as tight as you can. I don't want any breath holding, so we're always going to be breathing in as you tighten any part of the body. So again, it depends on your breathing rate, but in a nice relaxation mood, you might take about 5 counts to breathe in, normally about 6 counts to breathe out. So whatever feels a natural count, as you do that lovely relaxed breath in, you would tighten the part of the body that I describe. So you're trying to contract those muscles, use those muscles, squeezing quite hard, but again, really taking care. If there's an area that for you, maybe you've had an injury, definitely if you've had inflammation or very recent surgery, please don't avoid that area totally. You can just go into a nice relaxation because you are working that muscle quite hard, even if you're squeezing it. So feel free to not do some areas that might feel uncomfortable or you're worried that you just had surgery. But this is a really nice thing to do, you know, even people recovering in hospital, it's a nice thing to do to kind of reconnect with their muscles. And the idea is once you've worked a muscle area, then it allows it a bit more easily to drop into relaxation. It can be quite sort of hypnotic, it can really help you really drop into quite a deep relaxation. So I'm going to describe how to do it, the whole thing. The safety notes really are to please don't squeeze really hard in an area that you've had injuries, inflammation, recent surgery. Absolutely no breath holding, especially if you're holding your breath and squeezing really hard, it could send your blood pressure up. So the whole time we're just doing a lovely restorative breath, and feel free to just avoid areas that for any reason don't feel right for you. So we'll go through the whole body. We'll spend a lot more time relaxing than we are tensing muscles, and by the end, hopefully, we'll leave you in a nice relaxed state at the end for a few moments or a few minutes to enjoy at the end. And then I'm going to end the recording, and feel free to, you know, you don't have to come back and chat, but once I've stopped the recording at the very end, anyone that wants to stay on, I will unmute everyone. You might like to just leave the meeting and have a little snooze or enjoy your relaxed state at the end. Okay, so if I lie back and do it, I don't think you're going to hear me, so I'm just going to sit and do it, but if you'd like to get into a lying position, we're going to start. So progressive muscle relaxation, whether you're seated or lying, take a moment to bring your awareness to whatever you're sat on or lying on, whatever's supporting you, just noticing the contact between your body and that surface. Allow the surface to really hold you. So we're not using any effort to lie or sit where we are. noticing the breath, and maybe taking the breath a little deeper and a little bit slower. So we're going to bring our awareness to our face and head. We're going to try to tighten our face on the next in-breath. So I'd like you to squeeze the muscles in the face, squeeze the eyes, tighten the face. And then as you breathe out, relaxing the face completely. And just go into a nice restorative breath, dropping any tension, any little micro tension that you're holding in the face. I'm just going to turn off any sounds by end. We're going to do that again on the next in-breath, but just try tightening the upper part of the face, the eye area. So you might be that you scrunch up the eye area. As you breathe in, eyes are tight, and then as you breathe out, you drop any tension in those muscles. Relax the face. Just take your breath back to its nice relaxed state. And again, we're going to do it this time, the lower part of the face, so the mouth, the nose, the jaw. As you breathe in, I'm sort of scrunching up my cheeks, my mouth, maybe around to my ears, jaw. And as I breathe out, let the face completely relax now, including the neck, all the muscles in the neck. Just noticing if there's any little bits of tension and allowing them to drop. Bring your awareness back to the breath. We're going to move to the shoulders. We're going to be scrunching the shoulders up towards the ears. So on the next in-breath, when you're ready, we're going to bring those shoulders physically up towards the ears and then try and tighten the shoulder muscles. Squeeze the shoulder muscles, about 5 counts. And then as you breathe out, allow them to drop down. Keeping the shoulders down. The next out breath, just check there's no tension left in those shoulders. You're going to bring your attention to your arms. And to start with, we're going to have a go at tightening the whole arm, including making your hand into a fist. So maybe starting with the left arm on the next in-breath, or when you're ready, we're going to tighten all those muscles in the arm. So gently making a fist and squeezing it, tightening the forearm, the biceps, the triceps, the upper arm, where it inserts into the shoulder socket. And on the out breath, completely relaxing that arm. Just let the weight of the arm sink into the floor, be carried by the floor or the sofa, whenever it's resting. Same arm on one of the next in-breaths. You're going to just try and tighten the upper arm muscles. So tightening the biceps, the triceps as you breathe in, keep breathing in. And as you breathe out, relax those muscles, completely relax, no tension left. Settle the breath. We're going to move to the lower arm, tightening the lower arm muscles, not the fist, just the lower arm. Might feel slightly odd to connect with those muscles. And on the next out breath, relax those lower arm muscles. We're moving to the hand, so we're going to make a fist on one of your next in-breaths. Squeeze the fist, including the thumb, just until the end of your natural in-breath, and then relax that hand. Maybe giving the fingers a wiggle and allowing the hand to then fully relax onto the floor or the sofa. So that same sequence on the other side now, on the right arm, starting with the whole arm. On the next in-breath that you choose, as you breathe in, tightening the whole arm, making a bit of a fist, including the thumb, squeezing towards the fist until the top of the breath, and then relax all those arm muscles on the out-breath. Checking with your breathing, soft, relaxed, comfortable pace for you. We're going for upper arm muscles on the right as you breathe in. Can you, without lifting the shoulder, can you just tense the bicep, the tricep? As you breathe in, squeeze a little harder. Squeeze. 2, 3, and relax. Settling the breath. We'll check that no tension's crept into the face, the jaw, the neck. Shoulders are down. We're going for the right forearm muscles on your next in-breath. So you're tensing the muscle across the span of that in-breath. As soon as you start to breathe out, draw all the tension in that arm, but checking none's crept in anywhere else. Dropping into the mat, the floor, safe. Moving to the right up hand. Slowly making a fist, gradually squeezing those fingers into a ball, into a fist as you breathe in. And relax. Okay, we're going to move to the torso. First of all, the front of the torso. So the abdomen, and maybe you can imagine, hard to access, but imagine the muscles in between the ribs. So as you breathe in, you're going to bring the tummy muscles in and squeeze the tummy muscles, imagining you're tightening a weightlifter's belt from back to front, squeezing the ribs a little bit closer together. And then breathe out, fully relax the tummy. And settle into a breath, really allowing that tummy to completely relax. So the chest, the stomach really can expand on the in-breaths. Soft belly. The body scan again, face relaxed, forehead relaxed. Again, a tricky one, but let's focus on back muscles. Pick one of your next few in-breaths to try and tighten the muscles in your back. So you're squeezing into the big lat muscles that squeeze beneath the shoulder blades and sweep down. Again, tightening the muscles down the back of the ribs, muscles either side of the spine. And fully relax as you breathe out. Moving to the glutes, the muscles in the butt. They're big, strong, powerful muscles. Take an in-breath. You're going to squeeze the butt like you're trying to make it tight and small, like you're trying to squeeze onto a pair of jeans that are too tight. So really, on an in-breath, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze the butt muscles. Keep breathing in, don't hold the breath. Squeeze, 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 and relax, fully relax those big, powerful muscles. Biggest muscle in the body, so I think we'll do it one more time when you're ready. Pick a nice and in-breath, steady it as you breathe in. Gradually tightening, tightening, tightening the big butt muscles. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. And really allow them to relax. Okay, we're going to move to the pelvic floor. So it's actually a big kind of sling that comes right down around the groin area from back to front. We're going to try and engage those muscles and squeeze them as hard as you can, like you're trying not to pee, poo, excuse the expression and visualization, but any opening we have there, we're trying to close as tight as you can. So again, pick an out-breath, sorry, pick an in-breath, and squeeze up that pelvic floor. See if you can squeeze it a little tighter and harder as you keep breathing in. And again, fully relax that area as you breathe out. Take a moment to go back to a lovely deep recovery breath. Awareness is on the breath, and just a little check-in that we haven't let any micro-tension creep in on anywhere that we've already contracted and relaxed, particularly those areas where we tend to hold micro-tension, like the face, the tongue, the jaw, the teeth, the nostrils, all relaxed. Then moving to legs. So we're going to tighten the whole leg. We're going to start again with the left, like the arm, and see if you can contract and tighten the muscles on an in-breath in the upper leg, the lower leg, and even scrunching up the toes, the foot. So you're activating, squeezing those muscles, but only the time it takes to breathe in, and then fully relax that left leg. And then we focus on the different areas like we did with the arm. Starting with the upper leg, so your back and front of your thighs, inner and outer thighs. Try not to contract the foot now in the lower leg. We're just focusing and isolating that upper leg on the in-breath. Tighten, these are huge muscles, big, big, long muscles. They start up above the hip, they go all the way down to below the knee. Try and tense them, contract them, and relax them on the out-breath. Keep them fully relaxed, the whole body's relaxed as you settle the breath. Do a few more breaths. We're going to do the same thing with the lower leg, left leg. Focusing on those nice belly of a calf muscle. Tighten that calf muscle, trying not to clench the toes. On the in-breath, tighten the calf, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. The lower leg muscles and relax. Moving to the feet, left foot. Again, you pick your in-breath as you breathe in. Scrunch up those toes. I wouldn't point too hard, you might get cramped. Just focus maybe on a feeling of slightly condensing the foot, scrunching up the toes. And fully relax. Bring the awareness back to the breath. Switching to the right leg. Whole leg when you're ready. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze all the leg muscles, the calf muscle, thighs. Scrunch up the toes maybe, the top part of the foot. And relax the whole thing. Just let it fall. The legs will probably slightly fall open if you're lying on the floor. That's fine. We're not trying to hold them in any particular way. Upper thigh, upper leg. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze on the next in-breath. Nice and tight and hard, big strong muscles. And relax on the out-breath. Lower leg, right leg. Take an in-breath. Try and tighten that calf muscle. It really doesn't matter what the foot's doing. Try and keep the foot relaxed. Just focus on making that nice juicy calf muscle tight, smaller ball. There's about 3 layers of muscles in there, and relax. And lastly, your right foot. And squeeze on an in-breath, squeeze, 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 squeeze. Keep breathing, no breath holding. And let that foot relax. And give all your toes a little bit of a wiggle. And just be, just allow the floor. Take your weight, gravity holding you to the earth. Whether you're seated, lying back on something, a nice comfortable chair, floor. Nothing to be done, just enjoying being held. Do one last body scan. Starting maybe from the head, working way down, just checking that no little bits of tension have crept in. Got some awareness on that breath. It's continuous, slow, smooth. natural rate, whatever feels good for you. No particular count, nothing you have to do. Just double checking those areas like the face, the neck, the shoulders are relaxed. And just noticing how this feels for you. Dropping any last remaining feeling of tension anywhere in the body. Seeing if you can drop it a little bit. And whatever it is, no judgment. If you'd like to continue to relax in this position, please do. We are on time, so I'm going to very slowly ask those that would like to come back and maybe rejoin the group to start wiggling fingers and toes, opening eyes in your own time. And I'm going to get you to roll if you're lying on the floor. Please don't come up suddenly in one go, maybe take your time to roll to one side. Lie there for a bit, and very, very slowly, when you're ready, bringing your body to a seated position. Well done, everybody.